welcome to my Cricut Maker 3 unboxing video, which will provide you an honest review and comparison between the Maker and Maker 3. Don't forget you can use the chapters to skip ahead. I want to start by saying that Cricut has not sponsored this video in any way, so the opinions I share here are my own, honest and truthful. I've been using my Cricut Maker to create miniatures for the last 12 months, and recently upgraded to the Maker 3. There was lots of curiosity in the Cricut community about the benefits and differences of the Maker 3 compared to the Maker. I wanted to give my ItsyBitsers a realistic comparison, so you can make an informed decision about which one to buy. Cricut advertised the Maker 3 as being smarter and faster than ever before. The features that they advertised included: the Maker 3 can cut smart vinyl up to 12 feet long. The Maker 3 speeds are up to 2 times faster. However, in the fine print, Cricut says that this is only applicable to smart materials. Cricut says that the Maker 3 is 10 times more powerful, but in the fine print, mentions this is in comparison with the Explore Air series. The power of the Maker and Maker 3 are exactly the same. So let's compare what comes in the box. I was really disappointed with the inclusions in the Maker 3 box when I compare it to what I received in my Maker box. When I purchased my Maker in 2020, it came with the fine point blade, a fabric rotary blade, a Cricut pen, light grip mat, pink fabric mat, and some sample materials including vinyl, fabric, and cardstock. In the Cricut Maker 3 box, the only accessory included was the fine point blade, a sheet of smart heat transfer vinyl, 1.5 sheets of smart vinyl, a sheet of printable smart vinyl, and some transfer tape. My immediate thought when I saw the materials provided with the Maker 3 was, wow, Cricut seems to be really pushing the use of smart materials. Which makes sense, I guess, from a business model perspective, but as a consumer who just opened their Cricut for the first time, I can't do much with my Maker 3 out of the box without then needing to go out and purchase additional accessories just to get started. And there's so much more to the Maker series than just smart materials. It can cut over 300 different types of materials. I really would have liked them to include at least a light grip mat at the very minimum to cut cardstock and other basic materials, especially when I'm spending so much money on the machine itself. The look and feel of both machines are effectively the same. The Maker 3 accessory holders feel a little bit more flimsy than on the Maker. The storage tray also seems a little bit flimsy. I couldn't lift the lid without lifting the entire tray up and had to hold it down to open it completely. I like that they adapted this magnetic panel, so now it has little divots for your replacement blades to sit in. And it still has this holder for an iPad or mobile device, just like the Maker does. The buttons have changed, and they give the Maker 3 a sleek look, but I have to say I'm missing that little Cricut button. I really liked this side panel that they've added to the mat feed area to hold everything in place. They've added this tiny sensor on the left-hand side, which measures the length of the mat or materials you've inserted into your machine. And then in Design Space, it will show you exactly what those measurements are. Setup was just like the Maker, easy and seamless, with clear videos and instructions. When I compare Cricut Smart Vinyl with regular premium Cricut vinyl, the backing on the Smart Vinyl is much thicker because it needs to be sturdy enough to run through the machine without a mat. But the actual vinyl itself appears to be identical. One of the drawbacks of the Smart Vinyl is how it should be used for repeated, small projects that don't use an entire vinyl sheet. You have to be really cautious about the way you use your smart vinyl, because once you cut this piece off the end, you can't feed it through your machine without a mat, which kind of defeats the purpose of having smart vinyl to begin with. So I'd say when using smart vinyl, I'd have to get used to not chopping bits off the vinyl and keeping the backing sheet intact so I can still feed the whole sheet through my Maker 3 several times. The printable smart vinyl sheet they provided in the box as a sample honestly really confused me. Many households don't own a printer, and those that do would have a printer that prints in A4. But the printable vinyl sheet included in the box is 12 by 12 inches and can only be fed through an A3 sized printer. I cut mine down to A4 size just to see what would happen if I fed it through the machine. And as you can see, it didn't go through straight and the cuts were all crooked. Now let's compare the speed of the Maker and Maker 3. I've done some side-by-side speed comparisons here, and you can see the Maker 3 is much faster using smart vinyl, but when it comes to other materials, the speed is exactly the same. I do question why Cricut couldn't extend the 2 times faster cutting to regular vinyl, since it's effectively the same material anyway, just placed on a mat. To really give the Maker 3 a run for its money, I performed test cuts on a myriad of different materials. The Maker was loud, a little bit like a lawnmower. But I have to say the Maker 3 is a lot quieter. And it just feels more delicate and smooth when it makes its cuts. Now let's talk cut quality. I was really hoping that Cricut ironed out the issues with inconsistent cut quality. When using my Maker, I needed to manually adjust pressure settings and pass multiple times in order to cut through some materials. But alas, these issues still exist on the Maker 3, and some materials just didn't cut all the way through. Now, I've come to memorize how much pressure and passes to apply for certain materials that the Cricut will not cut through on default settings. But as a customer, I should not have to retain this information. I would really like to see Cricut invest in rigorous testing of its machines and improving the calibration of the material settings in Design Space to ensure cuts are seamless and don't require manual configuration. I was also incredibly disappointed to learn that there's a known firmware issue with the basswood settings on the Cricut knife blade. This means if you have a Cricut Maker 3, it cannot cut through basswood at this time. And although a fix will be put in place, there is no current ETA. I reached out to Cricut for comment. They emailed me a workaround, which I'll put in a comment below. Now let's talk Design Space. So the canvas part of Design Space is identical between machines. When you move to the Make It part of Design Space, this is where it changes. Once you click Make It, Design Space will ask you if you're working on a matte or matless project. And it will continue to ask this every time. If you're using smart materials constantly, this front screen is a must. However, considering the Cricut cuts over 300 materials, this extra step is unnecessary for most users, and I would much prefer to select from the drop-downs they have on the left-hand side panel. Once you get past this screen, you'll notice that the interface looks different, and the smart materials are front and center in the selection here. Again, there does seem to be that push for using smart materials. I also noticed a defect where as soon as the cut commences, Design Space will show the cut as 100% complete. This is particularly frustrating during cuts with several passes because I can't see the number of passes that have been performed by my machine to pause midway and check my cuts. So what's my final verdict? If you're not the current owner of a Maker and you're wondering whether you should choose the Maker or Maker 3, it really depends on what you plan to use your machine for. If you're going to be a heavy smart material user with very large vinyl projects, then the Maker 3 is perfect for you. If you're making projects with a variety of materials, you're more likely to use the standard mat approach, and the Maker will do just fine. You may even benefit from buying one while it's on sale, and you'll get the extra mats and the rotary blade included and not have to buy these separately. If you already own a Maker, I wouldn't be running out to buy a Maker 3. It's only faster using smart materials, and my personal preference would be to spend the initial outlay for mats I can stick my materials to, rather than buying smart materials. Don't get me wrong guys, I absolutely love my Cricut. It has brought me so many hours of fun and helped me save so much time. There's something so lovely about being able to hand make cards and create miniatures with my Cricut. I would just really like to see Cricut invest a little more love in the testing of its products and improve the shortfalls of design space. They have a very loyal fan following that is growing rapidly by the day, and investing in these areas will serve them well in the long term. I hope you've enjoyed my honest review. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below and consider subscribing to my channel. It helps me out so much.